Good morning, folks. 6th of February 2020. Here I am again. 7 o'clock in the morning. My only purpose in life now is to take my wife to work, because I live in Britain, where I just can't get work. I'm now 51 years old. I'm on the scrappy, it would seem. I had a degree. I have a degree, not had a degree. Back in 2002. Now, I've never been able to use it. Certain circumstances, like my ex, who was a psychopath, so I had to go out and work. Well, she refused to pay council tax and everything. I was threatened with prison. That's good old Britain, that is. They don't give a shit about anyone struggling, so I had to pay arrears and everything, all on my own, while she just lied in bed and refused to go to work when she had a job, and got sacked many times from many jobs. Anyway, that's just a brief overview of that, and then we forward to 2016 and that horrific vote that dragged Britain out of the EU into a little isolated piece of crap stuck out in the sea. Now, my parents have been residing in Spain since 2001, and they're now in their 70s. You know, a few medical conditions, as you do when you elderly, and what are they going to do? Because they're going to need private insurance as of next year, when this transition period of hell is over in Britain and we're totally on our own. Now, what's that going to cost them? Full-on private insurance with pre-existing medical conditions. Well, it's going to be hell. My dad always already told me that they're not going to be able to go out, do sod all. That's if they can even afford it. So there we go. And a lever told me on the plane on the way home yesterday, because we just been out to visit them, oh well, they just have to sell up, come back and use the NHS. I said, well, that's interesting, because within a year of my father being in Spain, he was sent a letter from the NHS saying he's not able to use their services anymore because he's not in Britain, even though he'd paid into the system for 40 odd years as a screw in the prison system in this dump of a country. My mother was a nurse. She nursed through all the hard years where you just physically pick people up, from the bed or whatever, and it was just a done thing. And now her neck's knackered and crumbling and Christ knows what, and should be bent over and screwed. Unless, basically, she went out to a hot country, which is why they moved to Spain. And for the, the climate over there, which has helped her, and she's doing okay. She's just got a minor shake or something going on, but if she didn't, she'd be bent over like some weird, I don't know, whatever, and just messed up. So anyway, they're having a good life, in Spain. They've no intention of coming back, but they weren't allowed to vote next in the 2016 referendum, like a million odd others, who just basically been told, if you're 15 years over out of Britain, you're not allowed to vote on it, on the referendum. So hey ho, this is the decision that's going to affect the rest of your life, that you have left on this godforsaken planet, and that's it. Put up or shut up or sell up and come back to Britain. Now, try selling in Spain at the moment, and over the last few years, where so many are trying to come back. That's pretty non-existent. And a lovely lever on the plane told me yesterday, oh well, they'll sell it eventually. They just have to come back and throw themselves on the mercy of the council. Or councils, God knows where they'd go. I mean, they were born in Bridgewater, Sedgemoor District Council, are the worst I've ever known. I've lived in that area now for 3 years, and I can't wait to get the away from them. They're about as useful as a chocolate fire guard, basically. And people tell you You know, they give people help with things like deposit schemes if you want to move somewhere else. You know, if you've been thrown out of where you existingly live, or, you know, there's issues with where you live. Well, tried that. They don't care. I've had my 3 food banks from Citizens Advice. Told that's it. I need any more, I have to go to the local church. Good luck with that. What are they going to give me? Bread and mortar? I don't know. Who knows, huh? When my wife went in to try them, because, you know, she hasn't had any food banks yet, they just told her, until you get your debt sorted, that she has, obviously, from living in this godforsaken hellhole, then we can think about giving you a food bank. Well, hello, if I could pay my debts, I wouldn't need a food bank, you heads. So, there we go. That's this situation at the moment. Now, we're trying to relocate to Scotland to get the away from England, and pray to God that they do come to sense, which a lot have, become independent from this shower of shit down here, excuse me, and remain in the EU, where everyone is together and at least fighting this shit of a life as one. You know, I mean, for example, Sam's friend, for a whole life, and her boyfriend decided to vote leave in the Welsh Valleys. The Welsh Valleys, around where I lived with Sam, which is from Abertillery, is an absolute dump. There is nothing there. There's one factory, and I did a night shift there, and they didn't give me a break. Well, me and my wife a break, because we both worked there together, for 6 hours of the shift. And when I said, excuse me, I need to go to the toilet, they said, I suppose you'll have to. I said, I suppose I have to, or I'll piss fucking floor. So there we go. So a nice example of what it was like to try and work in there. Oh, and on a 0-hour contract as well for an agency. So the shifts weren't that many either. So that's normal. So that, you know, Abertillery there, there's Tesco's and an Iceland, that is it. For shopping, there's about 20 hairdressers and a load of pubs full of some self-important idiots who, God knows, why, you know, they think this are great. So, Abertillery. Yes, as I say, there's not many shops, bars, that are just full of, I don't know, people with their head in the sand. There's no work there, unless you can get a job in Tesco's, and Tesco's isn't that big there, so obviously only a certain amount of people can work there. And, you know, same goes for Iceland. It's a tiny shop. So the rest of the people would have to try their luck in the surrounding areas, factories that are left up there. For example, the chicken factory, don't even go there. I've even been in a real crisp factory, stirring crisps around in a big vat of oil, pot noodle, all 0 hour, all useless, and they just get rid of you pretty quick. Anyway, so go, you know, fast forward again, Sam's friend of all those years voted to leave the EU. Now, even though he's saying your factory could go, you know, etc., where do you think subsidies from the EU are going to come to help, you know, with problems with the roads, etc.? But, so there we go. So, yeah, so we managed to get out of Abertillery. We'd gone back 2016 because we were desperate. We had a hellish time in a house full of mould. Made us sick. We managed to get out. I got a job. So my job went tits up in Bridgewater. We're still stuck there 3 years later. Every job I apply for there, can't get. Always, if there's any work, especially 0 hour, it's in Bristol. 80 odd mile round trip, around 90 if you have to go right in the centre. 20-year-old cars that we own, so you can see it's going to end up. And it's just so it goes on. The hell, day after day after day. How much more I can take, I can't tell you. I've asked for counsel, I've asked for help. Nothing coming. No one gives a shit. This is life in Brexit Britain, my friends. It's hell. I'm nearly becoming homeless now, well, both of us, because we're desperate to move to Scotland. They're asking for crazy deposits. It's got worse than ever. You know, there's supposed to be deposit schemes at the council, but they're just more interested in finding out who lives in our house, who has lived there, about discounts on council tax. It's thousands in arrears. They don't give a shit, they just want the money, so not going to be no deposit scheme help there either. So over £1,000 is needed to move to Scotland at the moment. They say just find someone who will help. But, you know, what can I do? Nobody helps. Willing to go there, vote SNP without a doubt, because they need to be free in Westminster. Get the hell away from this sinking country of England and rejoin the EU. You know, what can I say? This go. I hate this place to death. You know, just sometimes I think it'd be better just to... What's the point in any debts and any bull... But then they've won, I suppose. So, I don't know. But all the fight's gone. You know, on early. Been fighting over 3 years now against Brexit. And they still voted for it. Like a bunch of... So here we are. Businesses leaving Britain. You know, jobs on the horizon. More and more 0-hour contract. You can't survive on. And all you get is from the council. Council tax! TV licence as well. It's all it. Tell you what, go You can't get blood out of a stone, so what are you gonna do? In prison, I suppose. Yeah, hey-ho. What can you do? Just I'm off now. Ta-da.